Welcome to the No Hair, All Heart podcast. I'm your no hair, very bald host, Mookie Spitz. And the heart I'm going to focus on today is to live together or not to live together. Spoiler alert, don't do it. Gorilla in the kitchen. Lovers shouldn't live together. Katharine Hepburn once astutely observed, "Sometimes I wonder if men and women really suit each other. Perhaps they should live next door and just visit now and then." I had an Upper West Side girlfriend who would agree. I remember her sauntering into her kitchen and finding me standing there, teetering cup of coffee in one hand, the other opening her refrigerator out of which food was tumbling. On her counter were puddles of spilled milk, trails of coffee grounds, and random pieces of silverware, dirty cups, a soiled napkin. I felt to her like a gorilla that had just escaped from the Bronx Zoo, somehow got into her apartment and had made himself at home. Her cringe was palpable, my sheer existence violative. I was a hurricane of high entropy, an agent of Armageddon, and whether I intended to or not was an existential threat to the clean, neat, calm home she'd created for herself. Our Beauty and the Beast dynamic fueled a very different experience in her bedroom, but everywhere else drove her nuts. Whether she was dabbing food off my chin in restaurants, kicking me under the table at social gatherings, or laughing at my dorky white ankle socks, I was a rough-hewn block of testosterone-laced marble, and she kept trying to polish me. We eventually split, in retrospect, both of us acknowledging that for things to work long-term, I had to calm down, and she had to crazy up. We also knew that even if we decided to go for it, living together would be a bad idea. Habits and hygiene aside, she needed her space, and I needed mine. To Hepburn's point, visiting now and then would be the best that we could do. For many reasons, our society conditions lovers to believe that living together is the natural culmination of a relationship. Seeing marriage through the traditional lens of creating a secure and economically feasible home for children reinforces that belief, but begs the question of whether or not any romantic couple, straight or gay or whatever, must cohabitate. Living together works for many ostensibly happy couples. More power to them. Yet the ad hoc and unnecessary move puts pressure on people and forces them to continuously make compromises about some of the most basic, ingrained, and stubborn behaviors. The result is often squabbling over minutia. The tinier the infraction, the greater the frustration. Even the most remedial cost-benefit analysis of cohabitation reveals a negative return on investment. Describing love and romance in economic terms might sound crass, but quantifying what most consider the unquantifiable leaves fewer critical life decisions to chance and infuses them with the benefit of hard-learned lessons and proven best practices. Not so fast, you're likely thinking. The most obvious and immediate benefit of living together is saving money on housing. Demonstrably true, while reducing rent, mortgage, and other expenses is also the most tempting and dangerous allure. Are you moving in together because that's the next step in your relationship, or because you want to save money? Whether motivated by effervescing love, financial expedience, blending families, or all of the above, don't do it. Keep the sensuous fire alive, avoid getting on each other's nerves, and take the pressure off by living apart. Listen to Catherine. Visiting now and then will help keep the things you can't stand about each other zipped up, and your relationship will stay fresher longer. Now, of course, I have not listened to this advice many a time, and to much regret. But I think this philosophy of relationships, this preferred methodology, at the very least, this heartfelt recommendation based on those experiences, continues to resonate. The temptation to live together is so strong, but relationship dynamics change, often precipitated by deciding to live together. Marriage is a big move, but if you think about it, the decision to live together, to cohabitate, is no different pragmatically, emotionally, than deciding to get married. Think about it. You are always accountable and aware in some form or another of the other's presence, and especially their absence. Living together is almost identical to marriage in almost every way. So, if you do decide that you want to live together, assume that equivalence, both emotionally and pragmatically. Some might consider living together a test drive for getting married. And in that sense, based on this similarity, or I would say equivalence, that might be a good idea. And that is food for another podcast related to the wisdom or the lack of it, especially these days, especially post or sans children, of getting married at all. I hope you like this little missive, food for thought, cautionary tale. If you think otherwise, I would love